again, I already tried going live this morning and it didn't work. It only worked for like a couple of seconds because some reason I lost reception. I don't know. Anyways, so today we're talking about something very, very important, and I'm going to try to have my phone not jump all over the place. So we're talking about creditors, or basically furnishers, and their automatic dispute letter response. You see, I was talking about this on my live podcast this morning, and excuse me, I will put the link in the description. But it is Capiche, capiche.fm/ask-Kristen, and Kristen with 2 I's. So the problem is that a lot of consumers, and I'm not saying you, I'm just saying consumers in general, think that when the creditor receives the dispute, that they get the whole letter, and that there's actual people that investigate your dispute, your, whatever your issue is. And that is not the case. Okay. I am going to find the actual documentation on this to prove it to you. I have it upstairs on my computer, and I'm going to find this shit today, and we're going to go over it. I'm literally going to like show my screen or something and show you exactly what I'm talking about. So here's the deal with eOscar, right? You send your letter into the credit bureaus, and number one, it is read by a computer, not by a person. There is no, circle of people at a table, like trying to figure out how they can help you. That's number one. Number two, your letter is read by a computer whose job is, number one, to determine if it's a template, and number two, determine if it can read it, and probably in reverse order, right? If it is a template, it's normally automatically, virtually all the time, verified as accurate with no investigation. And you'll know that this actually happened because you'll receive a dispute response like 5 days after you sent your letter out. Like, how did you process an investigation that fast? You didn't, they didn't, there was no investigation, you sent in a template, it was automatically verified. So now, we're not talking about templates right now. You know how much I hate templates, but we are talking about the automatic dispute response. And here's what happens. So they process your dispute, right? It goes into eOscar, and your whole dispute reason for whatever account it was, let's just say it was Capital One, right? And you're like, hey, this Capital One account number 517805 does not belong to me. It's not mine. I'm a victim of identity theft. My identity was stolen when I was on a plane flying to Israel or Germany or wherever. And, this happened and that happened and this happened, but it's not mine. So I really need you to remove it. That whole shebang that I just said literally gets converted into like XYZ25, and that digit code, whatever you want to call it, 2 to 3 digit normally, gets sent over through eOscar to Capital One, and that is all they get. They don't get the letter. They don't get your whole dispute reason. They get that code for Capital One 517805. That's the first thing people don't understand. The second thing is that no documentation that you send with your dispute goes over to the data furnisher, whether it's a creditor, a collector, whatever. Okay, so you're wasting your time by sending that over to them. Okay, the third thing is, and this is where I'm going to get the documentation to prove it to you. This is like set up in the language for how to use eOscar for a creditor or a data furnisher. It says that to increase their ability to process volume, meaning many, many, many investigations, they can create a formula that will automatically, based on like keywords or, matching algorithms, give an automatic dispute response. So if you said not mine, it will automatically, because they created something in this formula and conditional logic and all of that, because it said not mine, it automatically comes back as verified, right? So you have to remember that this is a business, right? This whole bureaus, creditors, collectors, data, all that. That's the first thing. Remember that this is a business and their job is to make money. Now, not only did they lose out on money when you didn't pay them on time or didn't pay them at all, but they also lose money having to, number one, pay for access to eOscar and all of these other software systems. But number two, in the man hours that it takes takes to manually process, because they can use eOscar and still use people to process. But eOscar makes it so much easier, right? Because they are literally saying like, hey, if you want to, you can not have any people involved in this whole process. If the person says, this is not mine, you can have it automatically come back as verified. If they say that they were never late on X date, you can have it automatically come back as verified or certified as accurate. So you have to remember this when you are sending in your dispute. Oh, well, I wasn't late on X date and this account doesn't belong to me and this wasn't verified and blah, blah, blah. That you're not dealing with people, you're dealing with artificial intelligence, you're dealing with formulas, you're dealing with software, you're dealing with nothing that is created for you, the consumer, okay? And you're going to let them win if you just give up because you're frustrated. Yes, this is a frustrating process. It was not made to help you or to get you where you need to be or to get to that loan or that mortgage or that higher, limit credit cards, or to be able to sweep this under the carpet so that other creditors don't know that you didn't pay Capital One on time or that you didn't pay American Express at all, okay? So when you are getting frustrated, you need to just remember this, that you're dealing with computers, okay? So I guess the question is, how do you get around this and how do you move forward when you are dealing with these systems that are set up to automatically verify you and make this as cheap as possible and as fast as possible for the creditors and the bureaus and the collectors? Well, the first thing is that you have to realize that this is going to take more than one try. I hear this all the time. Well, I sent in a letter, it was verified, I stopped. Don't do that. Don't do that. When you do that, you are letting them win, okay? You have to continue to send out your disputes that are not templates, that are factual disputes, that do very simply state, I wasn't late on X date, update this to paid as agreed, or remove it from my credit report, or remove it from the payment history. This account is not mine. I am a victim of identity theft. Delete this account. Stop reporting this account. Blah, blah, blah. You get what I'm saying? You have to be very, very simple in the things that you're saying so that, number one, they can match it to the correct dispute reason code, because otherwise you might get fucked, okay? And number two, you have to remember that when you are sending in these disputes, you are getting them processed by not people, not humans. Like, people don't understand this. I don't know how else to say this. See, the longer your letter is and the longer your dispute reasons are and the longer you, whatever with your letter, the harder it is for you to get your results, the longer it's going to take to get your results, and it's going to take forever to get your collections and your charge-offs and your repos and whatever off. You see, everything that I tell you is by actual personal and professional experience. I don't tell you things that I don't know. Like, in a previous video, I told you I can't tell you about skydiving because I never went skydiving. I can't tell you about going to the moon because I'm not a freaking astronaut. But these things I do know because I deal with them every single day. I write disputes every single day. I process thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of letters. Like, you have to understand that I've been doing this for a very long time, and there's only so many ways to process disputes, to do investigations, to get results. Like, people think that there's all these magical things, like all these sales gimmicks that people are feeding you. They're nothing but gimmicks, okay? There are no overnight miracles. You're not going to get your freaking charge-offs off mad fast. It is going to take you an average of 8 months if you're doing it the right way. You're not going to get your bankruptcy off on the first round. So all these things that people are telling you, they're all lies, because you're not even dealing with people. Okay, you're not even dealing with people. Again, the eOscar instructions literally say you can process way more of these investigations per minute, per hour, per whatever, if you create these formulas that will give an automatic response. And it comes directly back to the bureaus, right? They put it into eOscar, it immediately goes over to the creditor. Their computer immediately gives a response. Okay, that's just kind of how computers work. They're not slow like us humans, all right? And then it goes over, and that's it. That's the end of your investigation. So again, you're going to let them win if you stop right there and you don't say, okay, I understand that this is a process. This is going to take a long time, and if you're doing it the right way, it might not, to get these things off. So I am going to find the documentation on this, because I don't want you to think that I'm just coming up with a load of shit. And I'm actually going to go do that, find record a video, and I will post it for you. All right, I have new stuff in the subscriber hub. You can access it down in the description, or a one-to-one call with me if you want me to do your credit sweep for you, if I can. Yeah, I've got a ton of content coming out for you, because there's so much going on right now. There's so many changes occurring. There's so many changes that might occur, and things are, obviously they're looking a little bit better than they were before in last year. But with changes, I obviously have to tell you what is going on. So I will see you later when